Hi, welcome to Examples.Part Online Academy. And in today's video, we are looking at the redox reactions. So we're going to define redox reactions in terms of oxidation. We are also going to define redox reactions in terms of reduction. Okay, so let's begin with redox reactions, that is in terms of oxidation. So in terms of oxidation, we've got actually four definitions. So number one, we define oxidation in terms of oxygen, which is simply the addition of oxygen to a chemical substance or to a substance. So when you add oxygen to a substance, then we say that that substance has been oxidized. So let's take an example. So this is magnesium, okay, burning in oxygen or reacting with oxygen to produce magnesium oxide. So since we've added oxygen to magnesium, we say that magnesium has been oxidized. So magnesium has been oxidized to magnesium oxide since oxygen has been added to it. So we've added this oxygen to magnesium to form magnesium oxide. So it has been oxidized. Similar example is here. We've got the iron 2 oxide plus oxygen. This has given us iron 3 oxide. So there's an addition of oxygen to iron 2 oxide to give us iron 3 oxide. So the addition of this oxygen to this iron 2 oxide is what you're calling as a oxidation. That is oxidation in terms of oxygen. Let's also look at oxidation in terms of hydrogen. So oxidation in terms of hydrogen is simply the removal of hydrogen from a chemical substance. When you're removing a hydrogen from a chemical substance, then we say that the oxidation has taken place. So let's look at an example. This is ammonia, okay, ammonia. So what has happened is that ammonia has been oxidized to nitrogen since hydrogen has been removed. So there's a removal of hydrogen. There's a removal of hydrogen from this ammonia. And because a hydrogen has been removed from ammonia, we see that what we have here now is simply nitrogen and also hydrogen. So the removal of hydrogen from a substance is what you're calling as oxidation. So similar example here, sulfur, hydrogen sulfide has been oxidized to sulfur, okay, since hydrogen has been removed. So we have removed the hydrogen from sulfur here. That's why you're able to see it alone here. So the removal of hydrogen from a substance is what you're calling as oxidation. So we've looked at so far oxidation in terms of oxygen, oxidation in terms of hydrogen. So let's also look at oxidation in terms of oxidation number. All right, so but before we come to oxidation number, let's look at oxidation in terms of electrons. Okay, oxidation in terms of electrons. Okay, so in terms of electrons, oxidation is simply the loss of electrons from a chemical substance. So when you lose electrons from a substance, then oxidation has taken place. So oxidation is simply the loss of electrons from a chemical substance. So what you have here is copper, and copper is moving from this neutral copper to 2+. That is to say it has lost 2 electrons. So the loss of electrons from a substance, in this case copper, this is what we call oxidation. And then this can also apply to aluminium. Okay, aluminium here is neutral. Okay, as you can see, it has been it has lost 3 electrons. That's 3+. Okay, so the loss of these 3 electrons is what you're calling as the oxidation. Okay, all right. So you can also have chlorine minus. So chlorine minus has been oxidized to chlorine molecule, this molecule, because it has, you see, it has lost electrons. It has lost electrons. These electrons that you're able to see here. So this is oxidation in terms of electron loss. This is oxidation in terms of electron loss. We can also look at oxidation in terms of oxidation number. Okay, oxidation in terms of oxidation number. Okay. Okay, so when we talk about oxidation in terms of oxidation number, we are looking at the increase in the oxidation state. The increase in the oxidation state. So, in terms of oxidation number, oxidation is simply defined as the increase in the oxidation state. So, for example, let's take an example. Okay, let's take an example. If this is copper, okay. Now, if this is copper, now we know that the oxidation number of copper in its elemental form like this is 0. Okay, this copper can be oxidized to 2+ like this. Okay, so if you look at the oxidation number here now, it's no longer 0 but 2. So the increase from 0 to 2, okay, to 2 is what you're calling as the oxidation number. So the increase from 0 to 2 defines an oxidation aspect. So this is how you define oxidation. So oxidation can be defined in terms of number 1, in terms of oxygen. It can also be defined in terms of hydrogen. It can also be defined in terms of electrons, and it can also be defined in terms of oxidation number. Okay, so just a recap. In terms of oxidation number, in terms of oxygen, oxidation is simply the addition of oxygen. In terms of hydrogen, it's simply the removal of hydrogen from a substance. In terms of electrons, oxidation is simply the loss of electrons from a substance. In terms of oxidation number, is simply the increase in the oxidation number. So this is how you define oxidation number. Oxidation rather. Thank you so much.